Who thinks that they can tell me the steps to financial stability?
Go to a good school, get a good job, invest in a 401k, and buy a house as soon as you can.
No. Thank you, but wrong.
What?
I had a good job. I went to a good school. I did all the right things, and I still lost everything.
Loser.
Most people who have taught us about finances, they meant well, but they were unqualified to teach us. Low key? Did I say that right?
No, it's low-key, they don't know what they're talking about. Like you.
Well, listen, this is why I love you guys. You keep me young. But to that point, your parents' advice, it is severely outdated now. Any number of life's events can come along and derail everything. Your job, it can fire you tomorrow. Your investments, they can tank in the next downturn. Too many times, we all end up victims because we haven't learned to create the means to make our own comebacks. I don't want you guys to aim for financial stability. I want to teach you guys how to have financial ability.
Financial ability.
Yeah, financial ability.
Financial ability.
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 Financial ability is the ability to create extra income without having to be dependent on any one source, any one person, any one job for your safety. But nobody talks about that. Instead, your parents and your relatives fed you a load of BS. Do you remember the housing crisis of 2008? Remember that house that was supposed to be your best and biggest investment ever? It was nearly worthless at that point. Guys, this applies to you too back here.
I was like 7 years old. I don't remember any like crises. Stop.
What about the 401ks and all the investment strategies my dad's financial advisor kept telling him about?
My question for your dad would be, how are those gonna fare in the next stock market crash? You see, most people are given the advice to save $2 to $3 million for retirement. But what they aren't told about is inflation. And so even if they manage to save that $2 to $3 million is only going to be worth the equivalent to about $600,000 to $800,000 in today's money. Yet they have the next 25 to 30 years to survive in retirement off of that $600,000 to $800,000. Certainly doesn't sound like the golden years at that point, does it?
Oh, so we're learning why the system sucks.
Actually, yeah, sometimes it does. I thought I did it right, and yet I still managed to lose everything.
Wow, that is inspiring. Who else is glad we took this elective?
Alex, man, take my advice. Instead of playing defense like you're taught, you have to learn to play offense and take control of your future. With financial ability, you will be able to create income in any given situation. The key is to diversify your income streams so that if one of them went away tomorrow, you would not have to change your lifestyle that you have today.
How am I gonna work multiple jobs? I mean, I could barely do school.
Jake, it's a good question, but it's not about working multiple jobs. Instead, one of the keys to diversified income streams is to make sure they are passive. Things like royalties or income from rental properties, or maybe income from a course that you build and continues to sell long after that. I can promise you it's going to be worth your time. You guys can get out of here.
Next on Smarter Not Harder, Alex gets a new nickname.
Listen, skid marks.
And Lacey figures out her financial worth.
Well, my dad says I'm priceless.
Then Chris gives his 2 cents.
If you know your worth and if you're willing to ask for it, people will give it to you.
The money on my mind, a great deal of it will fix me all I've ever desired.